Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Ex-NFL floats potential price tag of Steelers QB Russell Wilson via trade. Considering their recent history at the position, the Pittsburgh Steelers have no reason to trade any of their quarterback depth at this point in the regular season, especially Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Having said that, if a potential suitor calls, you always listen. And that's the position that ex-NFL head coach Rex Ryan believes the Steelers are in after the Miami Dolphins lost Tua Tagovailoa to another head injury at the start of Week 2. "I think he'd be the number one guy you would call, there's no doubt," Ryan said on ESPN's Get Up on September 16 after host Mike Greenberg asked if teams should be calling the Steelers about Wilson. "And here's the thing," Ryan went on, acknowledging that some might disagree with the idea of trading Wilson. "Here's what you ask for a first-round pick." Before anyone questioned the exorbitant price tag from the former coach, Ryan explained his thought process. "Why would Pittsburgh trade him?" he said. "Unless it's a first-round pick, they're not going to trade him. Because their situation is good. Everybody knows you need two quarterbacks in this league. I'm telling ya. You've seen it. What's the price of a starting quarterback in this league? It's a first-round pick," Ryan reiterated. "So, the only way you make that move for Russell Wilson is if you're a team that has lost their starting quarterback and you think you are a playoff contending team. I don't know, is there one like that right now? There very well could be in Miami. There are pretty obvious pros and cons to trading Wilson if you're the Steelers. First off, Fields has yet to prove that he can lead Pittsburgh on a playoff run. Or going one step further, he's yet to prove that he's the better quarterback for the Steelers' offense because Wilson has never truly been healthy since arriving in town. Another con would be injury insurance. Even if it's determined that Fields gives Pittsburgh the better chance to win football games, the Steelers would be one injury away from starting Kyle Allen after a potential Wilson trade. There's an old adage in football that strengths can very quickly turn into weaknesses in a physical sport like this, and you can never be too careful about your quarterback depth. As for the pros, a Wilson trade would be phenomenal business by the Steelers. Very few teams wanted the former Super Bowl champion this spring, and Pittsburgh managed to convince him to sign for a base salary of $1.21 million. Flipping him for any sort of draft capital, let alone a first-round pick, would be highway robbery long-term. Not to mention that trading Wilson would eliminate the QB controversy and the weekly distraction that comes with rostering two viable starters. If the Steelers prioritize the future, trading Wilson makes a lot of sense. Whether or not it would put them in the best position to win in 2024 is a totally different conversation. If the Steelers were struggling, a Wilson trade might make more sense. They're currently in sole possession of first place in the AFC North, however, and with the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals beginning the year 0-2, this is no time to take your foot off the gas pedal. With a home win over the Los Angeles Chargers in Week 3, the Steelers could be 3-0 to start the season. Who knows what sort of lead that might give them over their rivals if things continue to trend south in Baltimore, Cincy, and Cleveland. For now, the responsible plan is to stand pat at quarterback. And generally speaking, the Steelers have been a very responsible organization under the leadership of head coach Mike Tomlin and the Rooney family. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a breakout star on their offensive line. The Pittsburgh Steelers' offensive line is still gelling and is anything but finished at this point. However, rookie center Zach Frazier looks fantastic, and it seems like he is hitting the ground running from the start of his rookie season. Through 2 games, Frazier has not allowed a single pressure. That is on 43 pass-blocking snaps. For any center, that is not something to scoff lightly, but that is even more so when his 2 opponents were Grady Jarrett and Zach Allen. Frazier is playing at a high level, and he looks like he is getting more comfortable over the first 2 weeks. The one blemish on his resume is some miscommunication with Justin Fields. The errant snaps could eventually cost the Steelers, but Frazier is growing more comfortable by the week. "I feel like I'm getting more comfortable every week," Frazier said. "It's getting slower, for sure. You go out there at first and it is all fast, but the more you play, the slower it gets." The Steelers saw lots of positives from fellow rookie Troy Fautanu, who was not charged with the pressure throughout the day by Pro Football Focus either. These young players will be the hope of the Steelers' offensive line as they try to improve throughout the season along the offensive line. Frazier is the crux of those hopes, and his early play in Week 1 and Week 2 is giving lots of confidence that he will live up to his hype. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a new offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith. They are starting quarterback Justin Fields, the second of two passers brought in this offseason. Multiple rookie offensive linemen have taken on starting roles, and guard Spencer Anderson has joined them after a single snap a year ago. And yet, Pittsburgh looks eerily similar to last season. The Steelers visited the Rocky Mountains on Sunday and came away with an ugly 13-6 win over the Denver Broncos, epitomizing the type of win head coach Mike Tomlin has earned in recent years. Pittsburgh generated just 117 yards through the air and ran the ball 36 times. Through 2 weeks, the Steelers are undefeated. Is it an unsustainable way to win games? Yes. Has that stopped Tomlin before? Of course not. Adversity is inevitable. Injuries will mount and a quarterback change feels cosmically unavoidable, even if Fields has played well enough to hold on to the starting job for the time being. It's just a way of life in Western Pennsylvania, and in joining the Steelers, both Fields and Russell Wilson signed up for that experience. Regardless, Pittsburgh remains on its trek to 9 wins. After the start its AFC North rivals have endured, that may be enough for another trip to the playoffs. Steelers legend Ben Roethlisberger gives input on QB debate. As the debate rages on for who the Pittsburgh Steelers should name as their long-term starter at quarterback between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, former starter and team legend Ben Roethlisberger weighed in. Following the Steelers' 13-6 win against the Denver Broncos, Roethlisberger took to his Footballin' podcast to provide his thoughts on the Fields-Wilson discussion. "If Russ is healthy, I'm sticking with Justin," said Roethlisberger. "I think that he has deserves the right to stay there. I like what I've seen. I like that he's getting into it. I like that he's getting the feel of it. If you told me that they're 1-1 or 0-2 and this is going on, I'd say, yeah, we've got to do something." But again, he's not turning the ball over. While Roethlisberger has no real impact on the decision for the team, his input is certainly valuable as he spent 18 seasons as the Steelers' quarterback. Through his time in Pittsburgh, Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls and was selected to 6 Pro Bowls. At the moment, Coach Mike Tomlin has not given a clear answer on the team's starter for their Week 3 matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday. While Fields is 2-0 as the starter so far, Wilson has also not had the chance to start as he recovers from a calf injury. Wilson's health throughout practice this week will have a large impact on Tomlin's decision heading into Sunday. If he is still not 100%, the team likely won't take any risks. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Ben Roethlisberger? Leave your opinion in the comments.